Hello, I'm Michael Houston, CEO, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Terry Houston, who's the founder of Houston Consulting Group and Associates. And we welcome you to our Business Empowerment Series today. We have a very special guest. We're really excited. But before we get started, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel today, and that's Business Empowerment Series by HCG and Associates. And be sure to click on the notification bell so you are notified immediately as we post our upcoming editions. And take time to go back and listen to our past editions. We've had some great guests on that will surely empower and inspire you. Okay, but today our special guest is none other than actually somebody who my wife went to high school with in Halifax, Virginia. That's right. That's why I'm really excited to talk to this young lady, business owner, and that's none other than Lisa Logan, owner of the Nail Suite and Nail Stylist to the Stars.
Yes.
Welcome, Lisa. How are you today?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Fantastic. Thanks for joining us.
No, thank you. Thank you, Tara. Listen, it's been a long time coming, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you, guys.
I am just, Lisa, so proud to call myself your friend. You know, yes, Michael said we went to high school together. We met in junior high, and Lisa was like the smallest big sister I ever had.
Wow.
She would be like, no one's messing with my girl. This is my
At
girl.
all, no.
She was straight in New York the whole time, because my understanding is you started off in New York and then you moved to Halifax where we grew up for a time, and then now you're back in New York in Harlem.
Correct.
Yeah. I said she was my biggest, my littlest big sister, because she's only 5'2".
Yes, exactly.
So that's
and then I would always kind of feel like 5'2.5", because I felt like that was going to give me a little leverage.
Right. Well, thank you for taking care of her, so she can meet me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I used to be like my girl's from New York. Don't mess
Right
with
now,
me.
I know that's right.
But seriously,
She
Lisa.
still fights too.
But seriously, I think I got a lot of that from you, because you just always had just a little bit of edge and feistiness that was perfect. You're such a good friend. You're a good-hearted person. And when I was on Facebook and I saw all the stuff you were doing, it just made me feel really, really good. I remember you being a great rapper too. Let's be honest. I was like, Lisa could rap, and boy, could she dance.
All right now.
I mean, no one could dance like Lisa.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's funny because every time Tara says that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember that rap, and it was like super cool, but fun for that time. Dancing, absolutely. Like, we were like talent show. We were always in a talent show. Me and my cousin Yvette and Bridget and Mark, always in a talent show. But definitely good memories.
Yeah,
that's all right.
awesome.
That's all right.
You know, and that's all good, and you know, it's really great fun memories. And I see you and I smile, so that's what friendship's all about. It's like, absolutely. When you're really friends, you just pick up where you left off.
That part.
I like that.
Yeah. So, but we're excited because now you own your own nail salon and business. You're just an entrepreneur extraordinaire in Harlem, New York, and we're just so excited. And we want to hear a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey, because you know, we lost touch for a little while, so I wasn't a part of that ride, and I want to hear about it. So how did you come to own your own nail suite, the Nail Suite, and to become known as Nail Stylist to the Stars? Talk about that.
Wow, it's a lot. And always remember that, you know, just like you said, in true fashion for friends, it's about picking up where you left off. And sometimes life happens, right? And so everybody gets a little something going or whatever, but it's always great to be able to just jump in right there and be like, and then, you know, I also did this, and this. So to say that, one, I've been doing nails for 25 years, and February made 25 years. So that was a wonderful time. 2020 made, you know, me being able to say, hey, February 2020, I've been doing nails for 25 years. And then, of course, you know, COVID happens. But let's go back a little bit to say that my daughter was like 6 months old when I started doing nails. I had just, you know, had given birth to her, and just trying to figure out, leaving Virginia, I didn't go into college right away. During the time my daughter, after my daughter was born, I did take up business schools and things like that, but I didn't proceed right on to college. And so for me, my journey was more of a hands-on finding a trade kind of situation. And I can remember also growing up and in that journey, it wasn't always taken from my family as a thing to do, because when they look at you and they envision what they feel like your life is supposed to be like, there's a journey that comes along with it, and college is one of those things. Mm-hmm. And I can honestly say that would have been, those were some ideas that were in my head. But I had 2 weeks out of high school that pivoted what my life was going to be like. And that was me saying to my grandmother, Mama, I love you, but I got to go. Right. And gotta go meant me hopping in the car with my Aunt Yoli and coming to New York and trying to figure it out from there. Right. And because of what was instilled in me from my grandmother, she should have already knew I was going to be all right. Mm-hmm. But you don't know until you know what I'm saying? Right. So that to me was like, I had to test the waters to give her, I couldn't disappoint her because I'm a grandma's kind of girl. So, I couldn't get word back to her that things weren't going to be all right. So, you just start to figure it out. I started to learn that I had a hustle mentality early on. And what I mean by hustle mentality, one of the things was my aunt, who I did come to New York with, gave, we worked in the salon, a laundromat that she owns. And even then, they didn't have like drop-off service or anything, but I'm in the laundromat helping her manage it all day, every day. And now there are people who are coming in who have no time to do the laundry, but would pay me a couple of extra dollars to do it. So I'm like, well, we'll turn this into a...
Yeah, I know that's right. I know that's right. Yeah.
So, it's just what I can do, because it's like, there's that money for the laundromat where people come in, and then there's me trying to figure out how to make some extra, because you always think outside of what I make. If I made this amount this week, but my goals or the things that my wants are more expensive or larger than what I'm making, how am I going to make it? And so this is still on a small scale for anyone else to feel like, oh, okay, she worked in a laundromat. Okay, that's fine. And then my sister, Sheena, my oldest sister, had a friend who, right after I had given birth to my daughter, like my daughter is like 6 months old, and my sister introduces me to a friend who owns a nail salon, a Black-owned nail salon in Harlem. And she goes, hey, my friend Rita owns a salon. She'll teach you how to do nails. And this is when you can work as an apprentice under someone. And so here it is. Why would I not attempt to go in and work? I can tell you, my first set of like acrylic nails took me 4 hours. Oh my. It was my Aunt Pat. My Aunt Pat sat there as patient as she possibly could. Right. And let me tell you, you can make it to DC within the amount of time it took me.
So thank God the family taking a chance on us, right?
Yeah, she sat there. I built that nail up to a mountain and filed it back down to a mountain. But still, she gave me an opportunity.
Yes, she gave you an opportunity.
I know that's right.
I love that.
And really quick, within that time, I feel like God put that salon in that space for me. And I'll explain to you what that means. That within 6 months, that salon had opened. I had learned my skill. I can remember that it took me 4 hours to do it. I can remember that my cousin Aisha says that my first check that week, that it was a 60-40 split. And typically that's how you do when, you come in on a commission kind of thing, which is hasn't been odd. But my first week, I pretty much grossed $100. So that meant that I walked out of there with 40, or as Aisha would say, 38.50. I walked out of there with 38.50. And a person would say, if you with a child had to take care of a child and all whatever else you had to go on, what would make you come back the next week? I looked to the right and to the left of me and looked at every person that was in that room that I knew was making some money, and was like, I bet you any amount of money I'm gonna come back and do what you do and better.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
That was great, Lisa.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, first of all, you mentioned Aunt Yoli. I loved her. How's she doing?
Yes,
She's doing okay?
Virginia. She's in Virginia.
Yeah, I remember her. She was so
Yes.
cool. She was like the
Yes.
entrepreneur I wish we had.
Yes.
But so I heard that. That's kind of an aside. I kind of digressed.
Yes.
I apologize. But what I heard was hustle.
Right.
I heard grit. I heard understanding if others can do it, so can I.
Absolutely.
I heard having people around us who love us and support us, who are willing to take a chance on our products
Right.
and services, even when they can get a better quality product and service somewhere else.
Right.
Absolutely.
But those key pieces are critical for us getting our businesses up and running.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
continue talking. I'm just letting you know what I've learned so
Right.
far. I've learned a lot. So go ahead.
Yeah. And see, those are the things that whenever I tell my story, I say it as true to my heart as I possibly can, because those are the things that are always going to be like, I can't explain it any other way. Those are the ingredients in my story that made me who I am. And so I had to keep pushing. Yes, $38 would have turned me away, because God forbid you offer me $38 today, I'll think you're crazy. But back then, I needed something. I needed to make it work.
Absolutely.
I had no choice. I looked at my baby girl and I had to make it work.
Right.
The other thing is that, like I said, for whatever reason, this salon was 6 months. It opens, I learn my craft, and then one day I get up to come to work. They have completely shut down. They're not there anymore. Like, didn't tell me. It was a Black-owned salon as well. But whatever reason that it didn't work out for them, they got up, they left, did not inform me, and now I don't have a job. And that's when my sister came back and had another friend who also owned a salon, and she walked me on over. I interviewed with Michelle. Michelle asked me, well, you know, all the things could I do? Like, oh, could you do acrylics for all of these things? And so I'm like, yes, of course I can. I pull my acrylic brush out of my bag. She was like, you walk around with your acrylic brush?
Always.
Listen, listen, if I had to do it on the sidewalk to prove to you that
That's right.
It's called hustle, baby.
Somebody always told me when opportunity knocks, have your bags packed. So your bag was packed.
Yes, my bags are packed. And my bags are packed.
I love that.
Those are all the things that, and even I'll tell you some stories about like today's time when I have so many people that are in my life that always tell me, you know, people have heard that saying, if you are already ready, you don't have to get ready. Well, I believe that. It's like, put your things in order so that when that opportunity, because if you already start telling yourself these are the things that you want, you're manifesting what it is that you want, so that it's not just a dreamy kind of thing. It's like, it's a manifestation that you put so that those things can come to life and you can be ready. So if you go out and buy the things and put them in order so that when now that you've spoken into existence, somebody's going to test it.
That's right.
And they're going to see if you're ready. So that's what I did. So within that time now, I've tested at the other salon. She's already allowed me to say, I've interviewed. Now she's like, okay, let me know when you're ready to work. And now I'm ready to work. But mind you, I got all my skills. I know how to do acrylics, tips, just everything. I can remember that even in this salon, there was like 5 rows of nail tables. I was in seat number like 4.5, 5. But this one seat was right next to the bathroom. But person number 3, let's say the seat was at the bathroom, was seat number 4. But person number 3 would come in maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
Right.
Which to me, it's like, if you're coming in 2-3 times a week, but I'm in here 5 days, there's 3 days that means that there's a space between me.
Right.
I'm going to just occupy that space while you're gone. So now I have moved myself up.
Oh, that's right. I know that's right.
Because why would I sit that whole seat back there? It just makes no sense to me.
Absolutely.
Then that person gets pushed behind me because I'm being more productive.
Absolutely.
And
Right.
then there was someone else who decided that they were leaving, moved up to seat number 2. And baby, when seat number 1 was available,
Yeah.
I was front and center
Oh,
and ready to go. And
that's
so still things that manifested me all the way to the front. And that salon, up to the day I worked, me and one of my friends who now she and I have worked partnered when I opened the salon for, I can't even tell you how ever many years at this point. But point is that salon got closed down, and I went to another Black-owned salon. No, I worked in my house first.
Yeah.
Then I went to another Black-owned salon. And what it was, even in that world, was now I'm starting to get people who are like, in Lenny's shop, which was a nail salon, barbershop, hair salon, he had a lot of ability to work with a lot of celebrities. Although in the Fingers and Toes salon, the second salon that I worked in, is where I knew the Eve had been introduced to me. I'd already known DMX. So those people were already kinda in my world.
Okay.
So now when maybe like 2 years later, the opportunity from movies like Cradle to the Grave and Exit Wounds, because now Eve and DMX and all of them are in my world, and now they're requesting me. So I go from working in the salon full time to now scheduling people to be like, I'm only going to be in here these days because if I get this phone call, like they hit the back phone,
Right.
I have to go.
No, that's right. Special phone.
Right. So that
right.
special phone, they call, I got to go. So now I'm booth renting. I go from percentage or commission to booth renting, which then gives me the ability to say, I can come and go as I please. And then finally, I had to take it upon myself to say that what I was paying in that salon for the booth rent versus how many days I was there because I was freelancing started to not make sense to me. So now I scaled back, took the people who were my clients and took them to my house. And now I'm only like I had to let go of some of those people because I can't have everyone in my house. But now I'm freelancing again, and now I'm working and I'm flying all over the world. And what I mean by all over the world, like I have been to the Bahamas and Japan and London and LA and Canada, just working on sets or movies or commercials to that capacity. And I took them and I was working in my house, and now we stumble upon let's go back to the last 8 years of my life where working so hard that working on videos with people who are like Beyonce, Mary J. Blige, Queen Latifah, Madonna, Pink, Katy Perry, D Wade is my clients, like just people, but I'm constantly getting these people by word of mouth. And the irony is that
I love it, man. This is exciting.
It was exciting because let me tell you how I really, like, besides the DMX and the Eve, which is very important and pivotal in my life, but those people, what happened was, when the salon that I left before I got to the booth renting salon, one of my clients says to me, Lisa, I can't come to the salon today, but are you available to come down to the office? Where she worked at Def Jam. Well, she worked at Def Jam, but she worked in joint ventures with Murder Inc., Bad Boy, not Bad Boy at the time, but Murder Inc., Rockefeller, like all of those companies. And so she did joint ventures that when those albums collaborated, she was the person who brought them together. Well, she was also a client that would come to the salon for me. So one day she says, Lisa, well, could you come down to the salon and, to the office? But I'm like, well, Darcel, in order for me to do that, I have to charge you more because if I leave here, I'm going to lose out on the clients that I have. So she goes, well, I said, I know what I could do. You go around and tell a couple of people that your nail lady is coming down. And when you do, I can charge them like a manicure would be at $30. At the time, it was like, okay, I'll do $30 a person, because at least if I leave with like, if nothing else, if I left with at least the least amount was, I think at the time I would say like $200 or $300, then I'll come down. But I can't leave out with less than that if it's going to be manicures going office to office. But that would make it easy for me to say that you can get back then a $25, service or whatever. So let's make it make sense. We did that, which then made me run into like the personal assistants of Jay-Z and, all of these people, which then makes me be like, oh, they're like, oh, the nail lady's coming down. Now everybody kind of has an idea that I'm down here doing manicures in the office. And so now it reaches out to the person who is Jay's personal assistant, Carlene, and was like, oh, wait a minute. One day she takes my information, and one day she gives me a call and go, Lisa, are you available to come and do a manicure, a male mani-pedi? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Tell me where. I always used to drive with all of my supplies in the trunk of my car.
Always ready.
So I had just come out of the hair salon. It's like 10:30 and 11 o'clock in the morning. And she goes, oh, can you go to New Jersey? And this is the address. I'm like, sure. Go to New Jersey. I wait in the lobby. They call me up. I come in the apartment. I sit in the house. I start to set up. Maybe 10 minutes later, after I'm all set up, Jay-Z comes walking out. And I'm like, oh my God, when I tell you the level of sweating on my freshly blown out hair because I'm stressed out.
Wow.
Not to mention completely a Jay-Z, The Rock fan. Wow. Absolutely fan. But I can't lose my cool.
Right.
Jay-Z.
Stay professional.
Act like you've been there, right? Act like you've been there.
Been here before.
Come on, sir.
Come on, good morning. So here it is. Set up, did not mumble a word. Like, hi, good to meet you. Service done. But like I told my friends afterwards, I'm like completely geeked out because I'm like a Jay fan. But I said, had I looked up, I'd have looked in his eyes and been like, oh, like it would have been like a wonderful waltz in my head. Anyway, that allowed me, the way I handled myself, kept myself together, allowed me time and time again to be able to work with this man. Because I learned over the years that one thing he is he's to loyalty, as when it comes to knowing what goes on in that room stays in that room, because we're all professional. And let me tell you something, he's very professional, and he's going to be on time. He just needs you to do the job that you say you're going to do, get in on time, be done, and carry on. And so that's all I got. There is no, oh, let me tell you behind the scenes. That's what it is. It's the most professional set of things that you're going to get. And being part of something like that, for me, has forever molded how I run my business. Because I can't tell anybody that I could put a nail file and a bottle of polish or a nail buffer in your hand that you're going to make it do what I make it do.
Right. Absolutely.
You're not going to walk in that room and do what I do.
Right. Wow. Absolutely. And I love that, just listening to you, I love the hustle factor, and I want to just kind of go back to the hustle because, I know I'm just an entrepreneur by heart, have been since I was a little kid, have many businesses and things like that. And, there's three types of education. You had the formal education that you get from books and schools and things like that. Then you have the hustle education.
Yes.
Then you get education just from experience, trial and error, putting it out there, doing your first nail job for 4 hours, that hustle education. Then you have a combination of both. But what I found through my experience is that hustle education is the most valuable when it comes to business and being successful, because some things are taught and some things are caught. And just listening to your story, it seems like you caught a lot of things that you weren't necessarily formally taught in a classroom, but just through experience, through having your your comb and everything in your bag, just being ready, your brushes and all that. Or I'm sorry, brushes, not comb.
Yes.
No, I was like,
Yes.
If you got to comb nails,
hey, but I'm sure you can figure out a way to comb some nails and how you come
yes,
out. Right.
yes.
She'll figure it out. But I love that, and I want our audience, those of you listening, understand that you have all the education in the world,
That's
but
true.
but that hustle factor is going to be more valuable than anything. You just got to go out there and just make it happen. So I love that.
That's true. And so Lisa, so you learned a lot behind the scenes about business and professionalism from watching Jay-Z, and I'm sure eventually you started looking at opening your own salon. So how did you get to that part?
So fast forwarding, by the point that I'm getting to entrepreneurship, in my world, what I would consider in my world is that I was an entrepreneur in the sense of I was already, so I had, within those years, I developed an agent who would rep me to get me the jobs such as commercials and photo shoots and things like that. But I didn't allow them to take on clients that I met on my own. So if the Jay-Z's was of somebody I met on my own, that when I had a complete agency like Mark Edwards or which was one of the agencies or talent agencies and stuff, or I can't even think off the top of my head, but I had maybe like 4 different in my career, different agents that I had. But any of those agencies that I had, that I came in with leverage. And so what that means is that if Jay or Beyonce was already my client, and you know that they do commercials and photo shoots and videos, that you would book me for this when you know that that's coming up. But it allowed me leverage to say that I will only give you like 15% versus the average 20 to 25% that the average agent would get off of each talent.
Right.
And so I'm like, no, I can book this myself. I have the knowledge. I can do a computer. I have my cousin Stephanie doing a lot of invoices. And what we learned is that with agencies, what they will do is there is a 20% that the agent sends to the bookers, right? And then there's another 20% on the other end that the talent pays the agent. So here it is, the agent gets 40% off the top and then from the meat of the job. So let's hypothetically say that the job is $1,000 job. They're gonna get $1,200 and then I'm gonna get $800 of it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that's how it will work, just to go and do this set of nails.
Yeah. It's like they're that middle person taking so
Yes.
much off the top.
Right.
That's because they found the job. Without them, you wouldn't have had the job. Outside of my case was special. I already had an inside knowing that this job was going to happen. I would also come and go, hey, so so-and-so is doing, Beyonce or Mary is doing a video. I want you to manage it. I'm going to manage it, which means that I let them get only the 20%, which allows me leverage to get 100%.
Right, I like that. Smart.
That's smart.
Yes,
it is.
And I understand that when you open your nail suite, you and your boyfriend Joe, you all went into partnership together, and you opened it really with no other backing, no loans, any of that. You're debt free in that regard. Tell us about why you did that and why that's significant for you.
So, backstory again. So when I decided to open the salon, I had worked on my behalf with videos. We did the Beyonce, the self-titled album Beyonce. I've done a plethora of album covers and things with her. And what that means is that when back in the day, especially when you get the artwork for albums and things, there's hair, makeup, set design, like all of those people come in as a collab, and we all work on getting the photos and all of this done for it. Well, that particular album was the album when she was expecting her first daughter. Now, because I knew you know, we're filming and doing all the videos, and I also work on the videos. So once again, I'm getting paid to work on the videos, do the artwork. I'm doing all of that. And so now by the time it's time for her to announce that she's having a baby, this is the time that I'm deciding that I need something that I'm going to fall back on, because none of us know at this moment what motherhood is going to look like for the queen bee, right?
Right.
Not to say that she's not absolutely a powerhouse, because she is absolutely a powerhouse. But to say that you just don't know. She's having a new baby. That may say that it may be a year before she decides to do it.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Right.
So that meant to me that, hey, let me start having something to fall back on. And there was a combination of a couple of things that had happened within that year. Mary J. Blige hadn't put out an album that year. Queen Latifah had actually moved to LA, so I wasn't seeing her as often. And now we had worked really hard towards this album, which means I did really well, needless to say.
Yeah.
So combination of me doing well on set, Joe doing well, and because he does contracting and things, we did well and we saved. And so now we're ready to start searching for a place, because I don't know what the next year is going to look like, and I need something to fall back on, because these people who have been my more or less monthly kind of like I can do well with them is now dwindling to maybe a couple days or not at all. So so now I go to my cousin Stephanie, and she has a really great relationship with the owner of her boss at the restaurant is like family with the owner of the building that I kind of I'm eyeballing a space in their building, and they have a direct connect to them. And the beautiful thing even about that is that they're also Black owned real estate people. So which gave us an opportunity to be like, go in with the personality and say, hey, this is what we're looking for, or whatever. So they knew my journey a little bit, and I had somebody to also give my backstory. So they kind of knew that. Go in, and I talked to the management. The management listens to me, allowed me to apply. And of course, I feel like it was pushed through because of connection with people, which is a blessing. But the funny thing was, the guy in the management goes, so what do you plan on doing with the salon? I'm like, well, I want to make it into a nail salon. Well, he chuckles and goes, well, good luck with that. And I was like, okay.
Right.
I hear you. Challenge number one.
Right. You know.
Challenge number one. For sure.
I know who you talking to.
I know.
I love that.
No clue.
Right.
Mind you, I can understand. The space was only 275 square feet. So, and 275 square feet of what I did, I didn't take a bunch of individual chairs and clutter it. I just made one nail bar. Joe and Terry made one nail bar. And it had enough space for, I want to say three nail techs and 2 pedicures.
Wow.
So I had a pedicure station and space for 3 techs at the bar.
So basically, maximize your resources. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Get that entrepreneurs, maximize your resources. All right.
Maximize our resources, so we didn't have to buy furniture. Other than the chairs for the clients, found some really cute Marshall like finds, or home goods finds, or IKEA chairs, right? And just put them in there, really cute. Gave the space. Mind you, once again, I don't have to go and outsource contractors, because I had it in-house. My partner, my boyfriend, and my cousin Terry, who is contracted, he's built his house, like, you know, redid his whole house as well. So I've had them come in, and within 3 days, they pretty much like turned the room around from like leveling floors to the whole 9. And now, and let's be clear, my supplies, the majority of my supplies came from what I roll around on a daily basis and going to clients' house. And now let me explain to you what my nail kit looked like. that one of the ideas, that the reason why that idea came to play is because I used to roll this bag and it was so heavy that I rolled it once and I must have worn out the bottom of it, that running through the airport trying to get to a flight, rolling it, and I must have been shooting nail polishes out the bottom of it because I dragged a hole in it. And I must have been shooting polishes out. It looked probably like a missile, just like polishes in the airport running. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so now I'm picking up nail polishes because I worn it out. Point is that it was at a heavy capacity. So it made me go home, take out all of my nail polishes. And so I'm thinking, like, before I counted them, I was like, let me just go buy a nail, one of those plexiglass nail shelves that, you know, most salons will have in it. I go and buy one that's 150 count. I go and get it before I counted what was in there. I go get it and I start putting the polishes up, filled, and I look at the floor. I go buy 2 more. By the time I technically finished all that I did, I had 6 nail count, 150 count nail racks that cluttered, like not cluttered, but were on one wall in my house.
So you didn't even have to buy that either. Oh my goodness.
And I said, I was like, babe, you know, I can start a whole salon out of this.
Wow. Now that's like $1 out of 15 cents right there. Gotta do it. That's all right.
Lisa, that is just, I mean, I love. Now, which salon are you in now? Because you're in.
This is my second salon, same building, same owners. Just the difference is the first salon is on the block, on the street. So which we would say 139th Street, which if you're in Manhattan, it goes up and down, north to south. Yeah. Wow. And then it's an east to west.
Yes, we know. That's one of my favorite streets.
Right.
Yeah. Lots of shops.
Yes, east and west. So I used to be on 139th, which is on this street, which is off of the beaten path. Now I'm on the avenue, which gives me more exposure. And I'm in like a 900 square foot. I don't know if you can see, but it's a little there. And there's definitely space that way.
Wow.
So
that's nice.
Yeah. So
very nice. Very nicely said. I realize in your salon, you use natural products. So
yes.
Acrylic
no acrylics. No acrylic.
When you come to DC, I'm going to have you hook these up. I need a little. Yes. I realize for your household, for your house calls, you'll use acrylic.
Yeah, I can use, if that's what a client needs, then definitely. I just chose that over the years of doing acrylics or whatever, I found the effects on me personally. Even now, like I feel like over the years, like my voice is a raspier voice. Not that that's probably not my tone, but it definitely affected that. So I could tell the difference and I just knew that I didn't want it no more because I felt like it was going to have a adverse effect.
But you know what? There's been research done to say that it's not good for those of us who get our nails done on a consistent basis to be breathing that in either.
Yeah.
And we need to give ourselves breaks and stuff. So I like the fact that you are a natural salon.
That's good.
Because if I lived in New York, I would forget the acrylic too. I would be like, okay.
Yeah.
But so I certainly appreciate that. And I also understand that as we wrap up, first of all, this has been so enlightening. I mean, I'm enjoying this. It's like entrepreneurship 101.
Yeah, this is the real class.
This is the real class. They don't teach this at
home. They don't.
But I also understand that, you know, as many businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic, you saw some dips in your industry. I know here where we are, nail salons were closed, which is why I don't have anything on right now. They opened, but I never back because I'm waiting for you, my sister, to come here, or I come there to get my nails done. But I understand that it affected your business somewhat. So you being the hustle mindset that you are, the entrepreneur, the enterprising individual that you are, you ventured into another enterprise. So tell us a little bit about that.
So COVID-19, in a nutshell, took my thriving business to zero. My team that I had, at least myself plus 4 others, because I was actually hiring a new young lady the week up. And I decided, I took it upon myself to close 1 week before they mandated it here, only because I had one lady who what has underlying health issues like sickle cell, and she was expecting her baby. And then I wanted to get myself ready to be with my daughter to quarantine before I went to her because she's expecting her baby. Nonetheless, it goes to quarantine. Now, here it is. I put myself in a place where the salon is thriving. We are in a place as far as like living life the way I feel life should be. Like I can do a lot of things and whatever. Now COVID hits, we're closed. I closed first, then they mandated, and we taken our show on the road, and now we're in Maryland. We end up in Maryland for 3 months. But one of the things that I chose to do, I had started talking to my daughter with the idea launched from telling my daughter that when she was on maternity leave, maybe she should start creating a product. Because, you know, once again, I just really believe in, like, listen, you can get your unemployment, but you can also find something else that gets you the other things. I mean, she's married, her and her husband, you know, are doing fine, but you don't want to just sit there and just hold the baby. You want to be like, and I did this and I did that. That's how I think. Anyway, so one of the things was, let's start creating something. And the something was it went into soap because, one, I'm a true believer in oregano. Reason why I'm a true believer in oregano, I haven't had to take over-the-counter medicine in like pretty much 3 years at this point because I use oregano whenever I feel like that scratchy in your throat or sniffle or anything. So it's antibacterial, anti-fungal, like it's a miraculous plant. Well, I create, my daughter had a rash on, due to the fact that she's expecting a baby. The rash was under her boobs because of, I guess, the belly, the heat, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, within 2 days, it dried up. Mind you, the doctor had prescribed something that did nothing for it. 2 days. So it was like a light bulb went on. Well, that initially was supposed to be her project. Of course, I get down there. I got to find something to do. So we created the product. One, because my daughter had worked about a year with my cousin wife, who has an Ayurvedic company who makes things like hennas and stuff like that. So she learned how to make soap, cold press soap. Well, I did a glycerin soap because cold press takes a lot longer, and I will be incorporating that later on down the line. But I did glycerin because the turnaround is a lot faster in order for me to create it, blend it the way that I want, and ship it out. Made a TikTok video that I uploaded to my IG, and initially people were buying it because they wanted to support me. And that support like came, you know, really nicely because they hear oregano, they don't think that it's going to smell the way that they did. Everything that I put in it, of course, has to have a benefit. So I wanted to see the difference in it working and in doing something so that you can say you return and you want to buy it again. Well, it did just that. It not only did they get it, but they see the packaging and it's like, oh, this is cute. Like it's a little cheesecloth wrapped up. Well, you can actually take that cheesecloth and then scrub your skin with it is the purpose. But, you know, that's another day.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
Right.
Arrived last week and it smells so good and it's too pretty to open.
Open it.
But I'm going to open it and use it. I didn't know that cloth.
Yeah. Well, it could be good for that, but you don't have to because I'm trying to figure out something. So I'm still in a process of learning some other things that can be that purpose too. I didn't put that in a note. So, you know, that's fine. So people go, oh, it's pretty packaging, really cool. So they were posting all those videos. Then they were like, Lisa, it smells amazing. Like you can smell it before you open it.
Yes.
Right.
But then when you use it, I found people returning to the website and buying 2 soaps, 3 soaps, 5 soaps, 10 bars of soap at a time.
Wow.
I cannot make this up. And this didn't happen just once. This has happened several times because they're like, it's back in stock, I want it. And when they do, they realize that it does what I say it does. But I think the bigger part is the fact that people have a belief and a trust in me. They have experienced that I will not just sell you anything. That I love me. I love me some me. And I'm not going to put anything on me that I wouldn't sell nothing to you that I wouldn't try on me. Right. And if it worked on me, then it's golden.
Yep.
And that has definitely proved me a lot. So basically, I started selling soap, like really cool. Like this is like my oregano blend of soap, but I added an activated charcoal to this. This is a lemon verbena, and I did a poppy seed with inside of that. The original oregano soap.
Very good.
Usually they look like this. I
Yeah.
gotta make sure that this swirling chair doesn't knock me down.
Oh, yeah.
And that'll be it.
Oh.
I'll be like, whoa. But the original bars tend to look like this.
That's what mine looks like.
Yes. So those are what I call beard bars. So they're good. I trying to cater not just to men, because anybody can use them, because the little nodules are good for.
Tighten this up, right? Huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The bars are good for massaging and stuff, but also getting deeper into the skin or the hair.
Okay. Maybe wash them as gray out, huh? No.
Yes.
No.
Oh no.
I'm not. I like that.
distinguished-
I keep the wisdom. I keep the wisdom in there. So.
Exactly. Distinguished gentlemen. Distinguished gentlemen. It is okay. It is okay.
It's all good.
Awesome.
But the whole idea was, and I'll share that in the first month, I made over $3,000 in soap.
So you pivoted from nails. Soap wasn't even in the vision. Like early on, pivoted through COVID, created soap, $3,000. Love it.
That's the first month.
Raw essence of entrepreneurship that I love.
Yes.
Didn't have to go and fill out something or get your plan approved. You look in the mirror and said, I approve it. Let's do it.
Right.
You go to school for soap for 4 years.
You are the boss. I
love it. That's what I love about entrepreneurship. I love it. Creating something out of a blank piece of paper. There's a valuable service, valuable service for somebody, and being able to monetize it. I love it.
You know, one of the things for me, in a nutshell, if I can best describe me, is that I'm really big on the fact that I need to be able to come in, and sidebar, we had talked about the reason why we started not taking a loan or doing that thing was because when I have to work with my hands and my body and my energy, and then to imagine that you gave me $20,000 and day one of me opening and making money, I have to start paying you back, and I can't see my money. I could not fathom.
Right.
I could not understand.
I love it.
So saving my money, putting it under the mattress, and doing whatever I needed to do to be prepared for, to literally. And let me tell you, my cousin Terry, who came in, that when we paid him, I didn't know what it was going to look like or how much it was going to call me, but I was really big on taking my money and saving it. Like I said, I built a mattress fund, and when he came and was like, I'm like, just tell me what you owe. In my mind, I think the worst numbers in the world. And when he was like, oh, just pay me this, I was like, wait a minute. Counted that money and was like, here. No, that's not the traditional way. No, but guess what? I owe no one.
I love it. That's what I'm saying. I love it. That's awesome.
Lisa, this is just awesome. Yeah. We hate to cut this off. And we're going to have to come back, and see kind of how you are now that, COVID, you're back open and everything.
Yes.
This is so wonderful. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have your website and all that information attached to this video.
Absolutely.
This video will be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and everywhere. Yeah. So we'll make sure we have your contact information so people can reach out to you and follow you. So thank you so much, Lisa.
You're welcome.
This has been awesome. I've enjoyed this, and just again, I'm like a kid in the candy store because I'm I'm entrepreneur at heart, and just talking to a fellow entrepreneur that just rose up from the ranks, the hustle spirit, everything.
Yes.
And what you're doing now, and I know the best is yet to come for you.
Absolutely.
So we're so excited, and it's great to have this conversation with you. And for those of you all listening, hopefully you need to watch this probably about 2 or 3 more times. I guarantee you'll catch a few extra golden nuggets to employ in your professional life. That'll be a blessing to you. And again, thank you, Lisa. And again, for everybody, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel today, Business Empowerment Series by HCG and Associates. Catch this edition again, and all of our other editions coming up, and stay tuned. Okay, thank you, Lisa. Best to you
so much.
Thank you.
Okay, you have a wonderful day. Okay.
All right, you too.